Hi everyone, it's Elvin from The Right Move. Welcome to the next episode of our condo new launch review, where we peel away the hype of a launch to share with you our honest thoughts about a development, not as agents, but as investors and buyers ourselves. And for this episode, we'll be diving into the latest RCR launch, Bartley Vue. Let's go. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with a brief intro into the location, some specific information about the project itself, followed by the 3 things we like and don't like about Bartley Vue, ending off with a summary on how we can help determine if Bartley Vue is right for you. So Bartley as a location is a little bit of an enigma. While we really like Bartley with it being in the RCR and the many other plus points, which we will touch on later, we do get a fair share of buyers shying away from the area due to the high concentration of industrial and commercial buildings. Let's take a look. This is the URA master plan, and we can see the huge chunks of B2 and B1 industrial areas right beside Bartley. The lack of large clusters of HDBs have kept this area somewhat under the radar for many years. It wasn't until Bartley MRT opened in 2009, and also with the TOP of Bartley Residences, Bartley Ridge and Botanique at Bartley in 2015, 2016 and 2019 respectively, that people really started to pay more attention to the area. Let's zoom in onto the site. We are just 511 meters from Bartley MRT, and there's going to be a fully sheltered walk. And once there, it's only going to take us 28 minutes to get to City Hall. Bus connectivity is great too. You can get to the CBD within 35 minutes. Next up, let's dive into the specifics about the project. So the land plot was sold in January 2020 to Wee Hur Development, a locally listed main contractor turned developer who have previously done Park Centros in Punggol and Park Botanique in Sengkang. So we had 8 other bidders for the plot, a similar number to another recent launch at One North Eden, but some way off recent fiercely contested plots at Tanah Merah and Ang Mo Kio. And more interestingly, also some way off nearby developments like Bartley Residences and Park Colonial. The relatively low number of bidders have given us a low land cost in comparison. We have a total of 115 units and an expected TOP of 2026, both of which are points we'll elaborate on later. Here's a look at the site plan. We have pretty standard facilities with nothing much to shout about, but it's somewhat expected of a development this size. Last but not least, the price. With an estimated break-even of $1,525 PSF, I took an estimated profit margin that is similar to that of One North Eden at 19%, giving us an estimated sale price of $1,830 PSF. Here is a table with the different unit types and a range of PSFs above and below $1,830 PSF to give us an idea of what to expect on the sale prices. With half of the development facing the busy Bartley Road, it will be interesting to see how the developers load the premiums onto the units that are not facing the road. We've seen this done in the 3 other condos in the vicinity, so a worthwhile and interesting exercise to do is to look for the ideal price gaps between the highway-facing and back-facing units by reconciling their prices at launch against their resale prices, figuring out if these gaps narrow or widen once in the resale market. And it will give you a huge edge in picking out the best valued units. And this is just the surface level of analysis. I'll dive even deeper later on. So that's it for a quick run through on the development. For more info, either drop us a text or click on the link in the description below, where we have all the project details you need. And if you have found this review useful so far, please do smash that like and subscribe button and click on the bell icon so that you'll be informed the next time we release a video. And now, onto the 3 things we like about Bartley Vue. Number 1, location. We personally like the area due to its proximity to Bidadari. Remember when we mentioned earlier that the area was somewhat under the radar due to the lack of HDBs? That's all going to change with around 6,000 units coming up right next door. With all these new HDBs come a pool of ready upgraders in the future. And these are going to be upgraders who are sitting on huge profits because we all know how popular Bidadari is. And then there's Maristella Primary. As it's a highly contested school, a typical kiasu Singaporean parent would buy in the area just to give themselves a better shot at securing a spot for their children. and we say this from experience. So we think the location is going to become a lot more sought after in the near future. So on to the second thing we like about Bartley Vue, demand and supply. So on the demand side, we expect it to come up in the future. But what about the supply side? On the supply side, there just aren't that many condos in the area. Excluding the small freehold apartments, we only have 4. Let's take a look. We have Oasis Garden with 134 units, Bartley Residences at 702 units, Bartley Ridge at 868 units, and Botanique at Bartley at 797 units, giving us approximately 2,500 units in total currently. With the completion of Bartley Vue, that's going to bring us up to about 2,600 units. So let's do some groundwork and see the actual resale supply and demand in real time. Jumping onto Property Guru, for 2-bedroom listings, we have 59 of them, ranging from 1.015 million all the way to 1.4 million. And we have 53 3-bedroom listings, ranging from 1.299 million all the way to 2.32 million. And for 4-bedders, we only have 21 listings, ranging from 1.73 million all the way to 2.75 million. That's a total of 133 listings. So let's take a look at the absorption rate of these listings. Jumping back into HProp, we counted 100 units sold this year over the 4 developments, excluding the 1-bedroom transactions. This is a really good absorption rate, hence giving us an excellent ratio of 103 profitable transactions to just 2 unprofitable transactions, and with really healthy profits to boot. Take a look. So if you want to have a look at this data in detail, just drop us a text and we'll send it over to you. All in all, with an increasing demand and low supply, the prospects over at Bartley looks really healthy. So on to the third thing we like about Bartley Vue, timing. So there are 2 things that we like about the Bartley Vue timing and 1 thing that we don't. The first thing we like is the timing of the land purchase. For that, let's go on to one of our favorite graphs. This graph charts the correlation between the property price index in orange and the developer unsold inventory in dark blue. As we can see, the land plot over at Bartley Vue was purchased in early 2020, and at that point in time, the developer unsold inventory was at a very healthy 27,000. Fast forward to today, it's dipping very close to that arbitrary 20,000 line. So why is that 20,000 line so important? It was because once the developer unsold inventory dipped below that line, it triggered the previous en bloc rush in 2016, 2017, 2018. Fast forward to today, we are seeing it happen all over again, with sites at Ang Mo Kio and Tanah Merah attracting a high number of bids from the developers at new benchmark prices. So Bartley Vue was very lucky to have been bought before this rush. So the second reason why we like the timing of TOP. With the expected TOP in 2026, it will fall within a period of extremely low TOP supply. Let's take a look at the chart over here. This chart charts the supply of TOP units over the years. As we can see, in the period of 2025 onwards, there will be very low supply, mainly due to a myriad of factors, developers being unwilling to enter the en bloc market due to the cooling measures, and the government not putting sufficient land up for sale. Hence, we might see a very similar case as what we saw this year, looking at the chart, with also a similar shortage in TOP supply, where developments such as Seaside Residences and Grandeur Park saw huge increase in prices near TOP, as buyers have no choice but to pay a premium for ready units due to a lack of supply, providing the first buyers with huge profits like that. These 2 graphs are our favorite graphs, and if you'd like to better understand how to use them, you can check out our videos in the description below, or just ask us. So onto the 3 things that we don't like about Bartley Vue. What's that 1 thing that we didn't like about the timing? Was the launch timing. With the market being so hot at this point in time, the ball really is in the developer's court to decide how much they want to charge. So while we estimate an approximate 20% profit margin, don't be surprised if the developers decide to be aggressive. And we've seen this in previous cycles as well. So it's very important to do your homework, and we'll tell you how to do so later on. So on to the second thing that we don't quite like about Bartley Vue, the lack of amenities. With the lack of HDBs, there aren't many amenities in the area. There's no malls, no hawker centers, no wet markets. You have to go to Serangoon for that. But that said, hopefully Bidadari will help. And as we have seen with the data earlier on, this doesn't seem to be putting buyers off from the area. On to the last point about what we don't quite like about Bartley Vue. And this is a real pet peeve of ours, the small development. With only 115 units, the maintenance fees are expected to be around $500 for even the smallest 2 bedrooms. And that's quite steep if you ask me. But importantly, a small development will struggle to have sufficient transactions to drive up prices at a fast rate. So it's best we be mindful of the necessary holding period. In summary, Bartley Vue is located in an excellent location with plenty of potential, hitting a sweet spot in terms of DOP. But the small development and highest PSF in that area will require careful planning. Speaking of planning, if what we've shared interests you, it probably means you have a healthy appreciation for data, research, and long-term planning, much like us. And if you're serious, here's how we can help. So this checklist is what we'll do before even the purchase. And we'll ask ourselves important questions like, is this the right development for you? How does the purchase fit into your long-term plan? And might this purchase potentially help or hinder you in achieving your property goals? Contrary to what most people do, this is and should be where you spend the most time. Once the tough work of future-proofing your plan is done, then we move on to the purchase. And this is what we'll do for the purchase. Remember we talked about analyzing the price gaps between the road-facing and the back-facing units? We'll dive even deeper to ask ourselves, who are we going to sell the unit to? What are their preferences? How they think and what they might want. We'll also use the Rightmove's investor and owner-occupier analysis model to gain a price advantage over your neighbours. It's also here where we'll dive deeper into the project to analyse the layouts, how they compare to the neighbours, etc. And our journey together doesn't end with the purchase. It's the post-purchase that's equally important. This is some of the things that we'll be doing, and this is also where we'll keep in touch from year to year to ensure that we are on track to achieve our goals and projections. And if they are not, what can we do with the plan to make it happen? It also allows us to keep you updated on the critical changes in the market, such as minor regulation changes that aren't picked up by major news outlets but have outsized impacts on our portfolios. One of the examples is the minimum average unit size rule. Also, we'll update you on changes on the ground that aren't reflected in real estate data, as they'll only be published every 3 months. We do all this to ensure that our clients are always at the front of the curve, positioning ourselves to take maximum advantage of any changes and gaps in the market. And this is how we'll help you achieve your property goals faster, by doing it together. And before we go, if you found this video useful, please do help us like and subscribe as you help out the channel a ton. Till next time, bye!